When people hear about foreign conflicts, they think bombs, troops, and headlines. But the real cost, the one that truly matters, doesn't show up on the battlefield. It shows up in your paycheck, in the prices you pay at the store, and in the value of the US dollar in your pocket. It's a cost measured not in casualties but in economic consequence. And while a conflict in Venezuela might seem distant, its financial shockwaves could reach every single one of us. So why should we care about Venezuela at all? It's a fair question. To most, it's just another country on a map far away from our daily lives. But in today's hyper-connected world, Venezuela represents much more. It represents a massive reserve of oil, a complex web of sanctions, and critical shipping lanes that affect global trade. It's also a major piece on the geopolitical chessboard, a signal to other world powers like China and Russia. The simple truth is this: in a global economy, no conflict truly stays overseas. The idea that we can isolate ourselves from turmoil abroad is a fantasy. What happens there, economically, will inevitably wash up on our shores. The most surprising part is that the economic costs begin piling up long before a single shot is ever fired. The meter starts running the moment tensions escalate. Think about it. The first cost is military readiness. This isn't just about fuel and ammunition. It's about moving troops, ships, and aircraft into position. The logistics involved are mind-bogglingly expensive. Just to be prepared for a conflict that might not even happen. Then you have the invisible costs. Cyber defense systems have to be ramped up to protect critical infrastructure from potential attacks. Intelligence gathering operations go into overdrive, costing a fortune in technology and human resources. All this activity creates a cloud of uncertainty that hangs over the financial markets. Investors hate uncertainty. They start selling off assets, pulling money out of stocks, and hedging against risk. This volatility is a direct cost to our retirement accounts and our overall economic stability. So, the bill for a potential war starts accumulating long before the first headline about actual fighting appears. Now, let's talk about the most immediate and painful impact: the price of oil. The global energy market is notoriously sensitive. Even the hint of a conflict in a major oil-producing region like Venezuela can send prices skyrocketing overnight. Venezuela holds some of the largest proven oil reserves on the planet. Any disruption to its potential supply, or even just the fear of disruption in the wider region, will cause an instant price shock. And when oil prices spike, it's not just the cost of gasoline that goes up. The ripple effect is massive. Energy is a fundamental input for almost everything in our economy. The cost to transport food to your grocery store goes up, so food prices rise. The cost for factories to manufacture goods goes up, so the price of those goods rises. The cost to heat your home and power your lights goes up. Every time energy prices spike, it's like pouring gasoline on the fire of inflation, giving it a powerful second wind that erodes the purchasing power of every dollar you earn. But the real killer, the long-term economic disease that a conflict would supercharge, is deficit spending. This is the financial time bomb that ticks beneath the surface. Wars are incredibly expensive, and they don't get paid for with a country's savings account. They get paid for with debt. The government has to borrow colossal sums of money to fund military operations. How does it do that? It issues more treasury bonds. It essentially takes out a massive loan on behalf of the American people. This borrowing dramatically increases the national deficit, pushing our already staggering national debt even higher. You see, the government is already spending more than it takes in. A conflict would blow that deficit wide open. This isn't just an abstract number on a screen. It has profound consequences. Wars don't get paid for with savings. They get paid for with debt, a debt that future generations will be forced to confront. This explosion in debt leads us directly to the fate of the US dollar. For decades, the dollar has been the world's reserve currency, a status that gives the United States immense economic power. But that status isn't guaranteed. It's built on trust and confidence. When the U.S. government has to issue mountains of new debt to fund a conflict, it floods the market with treasury bonds. This increased supply can put downward pressure on the dollar and upward pressure on interest rates. More importantly, it signals to the rest of the world that the U.S. is becoming fiscally unstable. Our global creditors, countries like China and Japan who hold trillions of our debt, start to question our ability to manage our finances. The dollar doesn't collapse overnight. It's not a sudden crash. It's a slow erosion of trust, a gradual weakening. It's a death by 1,000 cuts as global confidence in our economic leadership slowly bleeds away. In the long run, this loss of confidence is far more damaging than any military threat. So, when the bill for all of this finally comes due, who actually pays the price? It's not the politicians who vote for the conflict or the generals who plan it. The real cost is passed down to you. It's paid by workers whose wages can't keep up with the war-fueled inflation. It's paid by consumers who face higher prices for everything from gas to groceries. It's paid by savers who watch the purchasing power of their hard-earned money evaporate. And it's paid by taxpayers not just today but for decades to come, through the burden of higher taxes and reduced government services needed to pay off the massive debt. The bill doesn't arrive immediately in a neat envelope. It arrives subtly over years through a lower standard of living and diminished economic opportunities. But make no mistake, it always arrives. If all of this feels familiar, it's because it is. This is a pattern that has played out throughout history. This connects directly to the cycles we've discussed before. Like the pressures that led to the crash of 1929, great powers and empires throughout history don't typically collapse because of a single, decisive military defeat. They crumble from within, strained by the immense weight of their own debt, their strategic overreach, and their sprawling foreign commitments. A conflict acts as an accelerant. It takes all the existing financial weaknesses in a system, the high debt, the inflation, the reliance on foreign capital, and it magnifies them. It pushes the system closer to its breaking point. History doesn't repeat exactly, of course, but the rhymes of financial pressure, debt, and overextension are impossible to ignore. We are seeing those same rhymes echo today. Now, this isn't about predicting a war or spreading fear. The goal here is to look past the headlines and understand the mechanics of our global financial system. It's about recognizing how fragile that system becomes when pressure keeps stacking up from all sides. A potential conflict in Venezuela is just one more weight placed on an already strained structure. Understanding these connections, seeing how geopolitical events translate into economic realities, is the first step toward navigating the turbulent times ahead. It's about being informed, not afraid. If this helped you understand what's really happening beneath the surface of the news, then you're in the right place. We're all about connecting the dots to see the bigger picture. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more insights that go beyond the headlines.